I never thought he would do this to me. Not in a million years. He wasn't just my husband. He was my best friend. My safe place. The one person I was supposed to trust more than anyone. Now I'm sitting here on our cold kitchen floor, my back against the cabinets, trying to process the shattered pieces of my life around me. My hands are trembling as I clutch the evidence of his betrayal, and tears blur my vision. I keep asking myself over and over, how could he do this? How could the man I loved with every fiber of my being hurt me like this? If you had asked me yesterday, I would have told you that Michael and I had a solid marriage. Not perfect, no marriages, but we were happy, or so I thought. We built a life together over 8 years, filled with inside jokes, Friday movie nights, and lazy Sunday mornings making pancakes in our pajamas. We supported each other through everything. When my father died 3 years ago, Michael held me as I cried through the night. When he lost his job last year, I picked up extra shifts at work and assured him we'd get through it together. We were partners, each other's rock. I never imagined there was an earthquake rumbling beneath us, ready to split our world apart. Looking back now, I realize there were small cracks in our picture-perfect facade, little warning signs I brushed aside. We would bicker over silly things like whose turn it was to take out the trash or how much time he spent on his phone. I'd get annoyed. He'd tease me for being overly sensitive, then pull me into a hug and everything would seem okay again. I thought every couple had their quirks. I had no clue those silly arguments were symptoms of something far more sinister brewing underneath. About a year ago, I felt the first twinge that something was off. Michael started coming home later than usual. He'd always been punctual. If he said he'd be home by 6, he'd walk in at 6 on the dot, calling out, "Honey, I'm home," in that goofy voice of his. But suddenly 6 o'clock became 7, then 8. If I texted to check if everything was okay, his replies were polite but brief. "Working late. Don't wait up." Or "Caught in a meeting, see you later." I remember joking that he was becoming a workaholic. He just pecked my cheek and said he was doing it for us, for our future. I told myself he was just being responsible, trying to secure a promotion after his job setback. I convinced myself to be proud of his dedication. Then there were the nights he seemed distracted even when he was home. We'd sit together to watch our favorite show, but I'd notice he wasn't laughing at the jokes. He'd be glued to his phone, a tiny, secretive smile on his lips as he typed away. When I asked who he was texting, he'd quickly lock his phone and shrug. "Oh, just someone from work. We're discussing a project." I let it go, feeling a little foolish for even asking. But the uneasy feeling in my gut grew day by day. I started noticing other changes. He took his phone with him everywhere now, even into the bathroom, when he used to leave it casually on the nightstand. He'd get texts at odd hours and rush to silence them if I was nearby. He even set up a new lock screen password, when neither of us had ever bothered with secrets before. Whenever I worked up the nerve to voice my concern, he'd sigh and make me feel like I was paranoid. "You know you need to trust me more," he'd say with a wounded look. "Have I ever given you a real reason to doubt me?" I'd always end up shaking my head and apologizing for bringing it up. He had a way of turning it around, making me feel guilty for questioning him. I started to wonder if maybe I really was just being insecure. He'd never given me a reason to mistrust him in the past, and he always said he loved me. I clung to those reassurances, like the birthday card he gave me that said, "To my beautiful wife," and the way he'd hold me on tough days and whisper, "I've got you." Those memories made me push my doubts aside, trying to believe my worries were unfounded. But one Saturday afternoon, my doubts deepened. We had planned a rare day off together, a picnic out in the countryside. At the last minute, Michael claimed he had to go into the office for an emergency meeting. I was disappointed, but he promised we'd go next week. I tried to be understanding. I kissed him goodbye and watched him leave in an unusually crisp button-up shirt he usually reserved for important presentations. Something about that struck me as odd. Who dresses up for a supposedly impromptu weekend meeting? But I brushed the thought away, chiding myself for doubting him yet again. Alone and anxious, I busied myself with cleaning the house and even baking cookies to surprise him when he got back. While tidying up, I noticed he'd left his personal laptop at home, which was strange if he truly had gone to work. Curiosity got the better of me and I opened it, hoping to maybe see his calendar or emails. Anything to reassure myself. But it was locked with a password. We had always known each other's passwords. Now he had changed this one. I closed the laptop, telling myself I was being ridiculous and invasive. I needed to trust him, right? I went back to baking, trying to distract myself. When I reached up to grab vanilla extract from the cabinet above the fridge, my eyes caught a small black box tucked behind some old cookbooks. My heart pounded as I pulled it down and opened it. Inside was a gold necklace with a locket pendant. It was beautiful and definitely not mine. For a moment, guilt washed over me. Maybe I had just ruined a surprise gift meant for me. Our anniversary was coming up in a month. I nearly laughed in relief, scolding myself for being suspicious. He must have hidden it up there to surprise me later. Of course, reassured, I carefully put the box back and even felt a little excited, thinking how sweet it was that he'd gotten me a gift. For a few hours, I managed to convince myself that everything was fine and I was simply paranoid. That night, however, shattered that fragile peace. When Michael got home, I casually asked how his meeting went. He hesitated just a fraction of a second, but I caught it before he launched into some long explanation about a technical issue he fixed. As he rambled, I noticed a small smudge on his shirt collar that looked like makeup and a whiff of a floral perfume that wasn't mine. My stomach did a flip. Trying to sound playful, I said, "You smell nice. Did a coworker give you a hug or something?" My voice quivered despite my attempt at a joke. He glanced down at his shirt and quickly brushed at the smudge. "Oh, one of the new interns bumped into me," he said lightly. "She must wear a gallon of perfume. I didn't even notice." He gave a short laugh and then, without missing a beat, pointed at the plate of cookies on the counter to change the subject. "Are those chocolate chip? You made them for me." His charm was so disarming that I let the moment of confrontation slip away. We sat and had cookies together, and I tried to smile and act normal. But inside, that uneasy feeling was growing. Something was very, very wrong, no matter how much I wanted to deny it. Over the next few weeks, the distance between us only grew. Michael was often preoccupied and oddly cheerful at times I wouldn't expect. Sometimes I'd wake up in the middle of the night and find the bed empty. More than once, I crept halfway downstairs and saw him pacing in the living room, whispering on the phone. One night, I caught a snippet of his hushed conversation. I distinctly heard him say, "I miss you too." My heart lurched into my throat. I accidentally made the floor creak, and he whirled around, startled. He quickly ended the call, mumbling a goodbye to whoever was on the line. When he saw me, his expression went from shock to anger in an instant. "It's 2 a.m. What are you doing up?" he barked. I folded my arms, trying to steady my voice. "I could ask you the same thing. Who were you talking to, Michael?" He ran a hand through his hair and snapped, "Work, obviously. There's a client overseas, different time zone. Why are you spying on me?" His tone was accusatory, as if I were the one doing something wrong. I felt my face heat with embarrassment and frustration. "It's not spying to wonder why my husband is on the phone at 2 in the morning, I said quietly, hurt. He let out a harsh breath. "I can't keep living like this, Anna, being constantly suspected and watched. I told you it was work. You need to trust me." Tears of frustration gathered in my eyes. He had completely flipped the situation to make me the villain. "If there's nothing going on, then why are you acting so strange?" I whispered. He threw up his hands. "This is pointless. I'm going to sleep in the guest room. Maybe that will make you feel better since you clearly don't want me around." With that, he brushed past me. On his way up, he muttered, "Unbelievable," under his breath. I stood there in the dark living room for a long time after he shut the guest room door. I felt defeated. He had never spoken to me that way. A mix of anger and shame swirled inside me. Anger because I knew something was off. Shame because he had me wondering if I really was going crazy with suspicion. I wiped my tears and told myself I would find the truth, one way or another. The only person I could talk to about this was my best friend, Lily. We met in our freshman year of college and clicked instantly. We were roommates by sophomore year, partners in each other's shenanigans and struggles. She was there for every major event in my life, cheering when I got my first job, standing by my side in a bridesmaid dress when I married Michael. I thought I knew her inside and out. Lily and I had been friends since college, long before Michael came into the picture. She was practically a sister to me. If there was anyone in the world I thought I could trust with anything, it was her. When things started feeling wrong, I confided in her. Over coffee at our favorite cafe, I spilled everything. The late nights, the hidden phone, the gut feeling I couldn't shake. At first I felt guilty even voicing my suspicions. Saying out loud that I thought my husband might be cheating made it feel more real. But Lily listened intently, squeezing my hand. "You're not crazy," she said. "He has been acting strange. Trust your instincts." She encouraged me to communicate with him, but I told her how he always turned it around on me. Lily frowned. "That's not okay. He shouldn't dismiss your feelings like that." She suggested maybe he was stressed or depressed and that I might try a different approach. Plan something romantic to reconnect or insist on counseling. Ever the optimist, she added, "Maybe it's a misunderstanding. Give him a chance to be honest." It was comforting to have her support, but nothing could fully erase the dread that had settled in my stomach. In the days that followed, nothing improved. Michael's mood swung between distant and irritable. I felt like I was tiptoeing around him, terrified of what I might find and equally terrified of staying in the dark. My attempts to talk were met with the same deflection and frustration. My anxiety was eating me alive. I knew I couldn't live like this, caught between trusting his words and trusting my gut. Finally, I made up my mind. I needed to know the truth, even if it broke me. The opportunity came sooner than expected. One evening, Michael casually mentioned that he had to head out of town the next day for an overnight work trip. Some sort of regional meeting, he claimed. He rattled off the explanation so smoothly, but I noticed he wouldn't quite meet my eyes. My heart pounded. This was it. If he was lying, I might finally catch him. I forced a smile and nodded, saying I'd be fine at home. Inside, I was already planning. I took the next day off work, telling my boss I had a personal emergency. By noon, Michael packed a small bag and left, dressed sharply again, giving me a quick kiss on the forehead before walking out the door. I watched from the window as he drove off. After a few minutes, I grabbed my keys and purse, got into my car, and began to follow. The morning was clear and bright, utterly at odds with the storm inside me. Keeping a safe distance, I trailed Michael's car across town. My palms were sweating against the steering wheel. Part of me was praying I was wrong, that he really was going to a work thing and I was about to feel incredibly guilty for this. But that part of me was growing smaller with each mile. After about an hour on the highway, his car took an exit toward a neighboring city. Not the direction of his company's headquarters at all. I felt a mix of vindication and dread. He eventually pulled into the parking lot of a boutique hotel on the outskirts of a city we rarely visited. I parked a good distance away, my heart hammering. I watched as he got out, smoothed his shirt, and checked his phone. Seconds later, another car rolled into the lot. One I recognized immediately as Lily's blue sedan. For a split second, my mind refused to understand. Lily was supposed to be at work today, or anywhere else but here. Had I mentioned Michael's trip to her? Couldn't remember. My thoughts flashed back to recent weeks. Lily had been harder to reach sometimes, making vague excuses for not hanging out. I had shrugged it off, never imagining it was because she was sneaking around with my husband. But now it all made sense in the most horrifying way. Time seemed to slow down. I gripped the steering wheel so hard my knuckles turned white, watching in disbelief as my best friend stepped out of her car. Lily, here, at this hotel, meeting my husband. I wanted to scream that it couldn't be true, that I was misreading this, but the truth was right in front of me. Lily walked up to Michael with a nervous smile on her face. He glanced around, as if making sure no one was watching, then wrapped his arms around her. I saw them embrace, and then they kissed. An intimate, familiar kiss that shattered every last bit of hope I'd been clinging to. I didn't remember deciding to get out of my car. One moment I was watching them through the windshield, and the next I was standing a few yards away, my heart pounding so hard I thought I might faint, but anger propelled me forward. I never thought you would do this to me, I found myself saying aloud, my voice high and broken. Both of them jumped and spun around. The look on their faces would have been almost comical if the situation wasn't so horrific. Michael looked like he'd seen a ghost, and Lily went pale as a sheet. "Anna," Michael stammered, stepping forward. He actually reached a hand out like he might console me. I recoiled. "Don't you dare touch me," I hissed, every word trembling. Lily's eyes filled with tears as she sputtered, I can explain. Explain," I shouted, not even caring that we were making a scene in the hotel parking lot. "Both of you, how could you?" My voice cracked painfully. I could feel my whole body shaking, adrenaline and agony surging through me. Neither of them seemed to know what to say. Michael's mouth opened but nothing came out. Lily just stared at me, her hands pressed to her mouth in shock. "How long?" I demanded, choking on the words. "How long has this been going on?" They exchanged a panicked glance. Michael answered softly, "Over a year." I saw Lily wince and close her eyes, as if hearing it spoken aloud hurt her too. "Good," I thought, "let it hurt. It started after your dad died," he continued haltingly. "We didn't mean for it to happen. We grew close and one night." "Stop," I snarled, holding up my hand. I didn't need the disgusting details. My father was in the hospital a year ago. While I was crying on Michael's shoulder and leaning on Lily for support, these two were betraying me. The realization made me want to vomit. "I trusted you both," I said, my voice breaking. "I trusted you." Lily stepped closer, tears streaming down her face. "I know there's nothing I can say to make this right," she sobbed. "I never wanted to hurt you. I fell in love with him." She barely finished the sentence before my hand flew on its own. The slap I delivered to her face was sharp and echoed in the air. Lily stumbled back, holding her cheek, eyes wide with shock and fresh tears. Michael moved as if to step in front of her protectively, and that sight, him defending her, nearly broke me all over again. I saw him reach toward me, maybe to stop me or calm me, but I shot him a look of pure fury and he froze. I looked at Michael, eyes wide in disbelief. Do you love her?" I asked, barely audible. He looked torn, glancing between Lily and me. His silence was all the answer I needed. My world, already teetering on the edge, completely crumbled. I felt something inside me collapse, the part of me that still hoped there was some mistake. "You both deserve each other," I spat out finally. "I hope it was worth it." Was it worth destroying me? Michael suddenly stepped toward me, desperation on his face. "It wasn't worth it. It was the worst mistake of my life. I'll end it, Anna. I'll never see her again. Please, just don't leave me," he babbled, reaching for my hand. Lily looked at him with visible hurt and disbelief. "Are you kidding me?" she cried at him. "You told me you loved me." Michael ignored her, his focus solely on me. "She meant nothing compared to you," he continued, voice cracking. "Enough," I shouted, my voice slicing through their chaos. They both fell silent, turning back to me. I fixed them with a glare of pure fury. "I don't want to hear another word from either of you." My chest was heaving. There was nothing that could possibly excuse this. Lily was openly crying. "I'm so sorry," she kept saying in a broken whisper. Michael's face was streaked with tears now too, but I had no sympathy left. I drew in a shaky breath, mustering every ounce of strength I had left. "Goodbye, Michael," I said, almost calmly. Then I looked at the woman I had called my best friend. I could barely recognize her now. "Goodbye, Lily." With that, I turned on my heel and walked away. Behind me I heard Michael call out my name desperately and Lily sobbing, but neither of them followed me. Maybe they were too shocked or too ashamed. I didn't care. I got into my car, threw it into reverse, and drove out of that parking lot, leaving them standing there in their betrayal and guilt. The drive back home was a blur through my tears. At some point I had to pull over because I was shaking so badly. I screamed in my car until my throat was raw, pounding on the steering wheel as sobs racked my body. My chest felt like it was caving in from the pain. I truly thought I might break apart. The life I knew was gone, shattered by the two people I trusted most. I wasn't sure how I was going to survive this. Eventually, I made it home. The house was dark and silent and felt utterly empty. I couldn't bear the idea of sleeping under the same roof where all our memories now felt tainted. So I grabbed a suitcase, threw in some clothes and essentials, and decided to leave. As I was about to walk out, I hesitated and went to the bedroom. On the dresser was the framed photo from our wedding day, me and Michael beaming with joy. I placed it face down. I couldn't look at it for another second. In the chaos of everything, one thing was clear. I needed support. My hands still trembling, I called my mom. The moment I heard her gentle hello on the line, I broke down all over again. She didn't understand a word I was saying through the sobs, but eventually I managed to choke out, "He cheated on me with Lily." Hearing myself say it made it painfully real all over again. My mother was stunned and horrified. She urged me to come stay with her immediately. I agreed. I didn't want to spend a single night in that house alone with my misery. Before I left, I sent Michael a single text. I told him I knew he would try to contact me, but I wasn't ready to talk and I didn't want to see him at the house when I returned for my things. Then I blocked his number. I couldn't handle any more lies or apologies. I blocked Lily as well. There was nothing she could possibly say that I wanted to hear. Now I'm here in my mom's guest room, sitting on the bed with a blanket around my shoulders, trying to make sense of it all. My eyes feel swollen and raw, and there's a deep ache in my chest that hasn't gone away. My mom made me tea and keeps checking on me with worried eyes. She keeps telling me that I did nothing wrong, that I'm strong and I will get through this. Right now I don't feel strong, but hearing her say it helps, a little. For a while, I just cry in her arms like I'm a little girl again. I don't know how I'll ever trust anyone after this. And it kills me that despite everything, part of me still aches for the man I thought I knew. The man who held me when I cried, who was my companion for years. That love doesn't vanish in an instant, and that's the cruelest part. My heart hasn't caught up with the reality of what they did. I know it will with time, but right now it's a tangle of love and hatred, confusion and pain. But amidst the tears, there's a tiny spark inside me, a spark of resolve. I survived this day somehow. I confronted them. I stood up for myself in the face of unimaginable hurt, and I walked away. I know the coming weeks and months will be hard. There will be lawyers and painful discussions, and endless nights of loneliness as I grieve the life I thought I had. But I also know I won't let this betrayal destroy me. I'll take it one day at a time and I'll find help where I need it, therapy, friends, whatever it takes, to heal from this. I never thought he would do this to me. I never thought she would either. I never thought my entire world could come crashing down so quickly. But here I am, heartbroken, yes, but still breathing, still living. I know deep down that I'll be okay. It will take time, and it will take strength I'm not sure I have right now. But I will not let their betrayal define me. One day, I'll pick up the shattered pieces they left behind and put myself back together. Maybe someday I'll even be able to let someone else into my heart without the shadow of this pain. They took so much from me, but I won't give them the power to take my ability to love or trust in the future. That belongs to me, and I will claim it back in time. It's been 2 months since that awful day. The divorce papers are filed, and I've been staying with Mom while I look for a new apartment of my own. Michael tried to reach out a few times through email and even a handwritten letter, but I haven't responded. He made his choice, and I'm sticking to mine. As for Lily, I heard through a mutual acquaintance that she quit her job and moved away. I don't know if their twisted romance is still going on, and honestly, I don't care anymore. My focus is on me now. Therapy has been helping bit by bit. I've started to smile again at small things. A sunny morning, a good cup of coffee, a text from a coworker who's become a new friend. I still have bad days, days when the betrayal hits me like a punch in the gut. But those days are slowly getting fewer. I'm rediscovering pieces of myself that I thought were lost. I'm learning that I am more than what happened to me. I won't pretend I'm completely healed or that I don't feel the sting of what they did. But I'm moving forward. I get out of bed each morning and take on the day, and that in itself feels like a victory. I know I will trust again, cautiously perhaps, but I will not let them steal my ability to love and be loved. The road ahead is still long, but I can see a flicker of light now where there was once only darkness. And that gives me hope. In the end, their betrayal is only going to make me stronger. I am picking up the pieces one day at a time and writing a new chapter for myself. One where I am whole and happy and free.